Welcome back, and I'm so glad to welcome Mr. Dan Daly from Alzheimer's Orange County. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Connie. Nice to be here again.
Nice to see you, and I know that you have a very important event coming up this Friday.
Yes, we do. It's going to be the hosted, and the narrator is going to be Carrie Walker. Carrie's a colleague of mine. She's the Director of Education for Alzheimer's Orange County.
Oh.
Carrie's got a master's in gerokinesiology from Cal State Fullerton.
Okay.
So she's been working with seniors many, many years.
Okay.
So she's got a great program that she's going to be presenting, and it's going to be very exciting.
Well, what I like about it is in the flyer that you provided for us, you talk about how Carrie will help us to understand how internal changes in your brain can give a forewarning of the Alzheimer's or dementia situation that you may have.
Yeah, unfortunately what happens with Alzheimer's or any form of dementia, the cognitive functioning is compromised, and that's a result of neurons being destroyed. So what will happen is it'll have an adverse effect on the behavioral tendencies of the individual. So somebody who was at one time passive is now very aggressive.
Combative, yes.
Somebody who is very congenial is hostile. So what she will do is she will teach the family members and friends how to deal with those changes. So there are a number of things that can be done, but there are 3 don'ts that we recommend to all family members and friends. Number 1, don't argue, don't reason, and number 3, don't take it personal.
Yes.
Because they'll have a tendency to lash out and call people names they really don't mean it. So it's not the person that's changed, it's the disease that's changing the profile of the person.
Yes, yes. And it's so important for family members and friends to understand this because it is hard not to take it personally. Oh,
sure. I mean, because it's a loved one. If it's a spouse, I mean, say 30, 40, 50 years you've been with this person, and all of a sudden now it's a stranger that's in your home. It's very difficult to deal with. So what we recommend, and what Carrie will recommend, is that you should look back at their history and see what are the areas that they had a lot of feelings and a lot of likes for. For example, music. I mean, every one of us, whether you have good memory or poor memory, there may be a song that you will hear, and that'll immediately divert you back to a certain place in a certain time that you were experiencing that song. So music can be a very, very effective tool.
That's wonderful. Of course, music will take us back to a time and place, and we almost have the muscle memory and the brain tissue memory of that enjoyment of enjoying that particular piece of music. Tell me, how about tests or manipulatives or using your hands, drawing, anything?
One area, we have a program at Alzheimer's Orange County, and it's one of our signature programs. It's called Memories in the Making.
Okay.
And what they do with watercolors, by the way, the last segment of the brain that ends up being destroyed because of Alzheimer's is the creative segment. So you have a lot of people out there that might have dabbled in watercolors at one time or another.
Yes.
Well, this program, this class, they teach them with a facilitator how to complete a watercolor painting.
Yes.
And you can see people who had never dabbled in this before but have a tremendous potential, and they will produce these paintings that are unbelievable. You look at them and say, there's no possible way somebody with dementia completed this.
Yes.
So that's one of the programs. The other program we have, it's called the Our Gain Clubhouse.
Our Gain Clubhouse.
Our
Gain Clubhouse.
Like you and I, our.
Thank you.
It's my accent that's coming out here.
It's a good accent.
Yeah. So anyway, it's the family member and the loved one will get together with a group who are in a similar situation. And they will end up having word games that they'll complete. There'll be some type of challenges to help them as far as memory loss is concerned.
Yes.
So they'll split them up into 2 separate groups, and then they'll join as one big group, and then they'll have a lunch at the end of that session. And it's a bi-monthly meeting, and it's proven to be very, very effective.
And it's the social interaction as well, positive social interaction.
Absolutely. When we have the 10 signs of Alzheimer's.
What are those 10 signs?
What to look for.
Yes.
Number 1 sign is recently learned information is forgotten. And then there are 9 others, but that's the most important one.
Okay.
So whenever anybody has any suspicion about a loved one having memory loss, they can go back 2 weeks, a month, 2 years, 20 years, and be able to recall an event for you. But if you asked them what they had for breakfast this morning, they wouldn't be able to tell you.
Right.
That's a definite indication that there's something going on there.
Or where they parked the car.
Where they parked the car, where they placed their keys by mistake, they can't find them, they cannot retrace their steps. These are all very positive signs that something is going wrong there.
Something there. And then another positive influence would be nature, connection to nature or to beautiful surroundings. Is that true?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at this area here and all the parks that are around here, a family member should take that loved one for a walk.
Yes.
And whether it be here, whether they go to a conservatory somewhere, an art museum,
Yes.
somewhere where they're together with them so that they will see something. It could be a picture, it could be a tree, it could be a bird flying by. It's going to trigger something in that memory bank.
That's true.
All very, very important.
I know that I take my family member to a Japanese garden, very beautiful, but I have to always prepare for if they get tired or hungry or thirsty, and they may not always be able to tell you, I'm getting hungry, but that may trigger some of the more unhappy or combative behavior.
Right. And the other thing is it's going to neutralize it, and the whole purpose of this is to keep the anxiety level at a very low ebb.
Yes.
And by doing these things, it's going to certainly help that.
Yes. Oh, it's wonderful. All of these terrific ways for family members and friends to be able to make their connections and still connect with folks who have these diseases.
Absolutely. And it's something that people have to be addressing more frequently now. They have to be open about it. They have to be transparent, because it isn't doing the loved one any good by not sharing this with neighbors. Because if that loved one decides to go for a walk someday, and they walk 3-4 blocks up the street, and all of a sudden they take a right turn instead of a left turn, they're lost.
Yes.
Somebody's going to go up to them and say, can I help you? Where do you live? They're not going to be able to give them an exact address.
And confusion and perhaps even anger may result in that.
They'll get panicky.
Yes.
They'll lash out at them. They'll accuse them of trying to steal something from them.
Yes, yes, that's true.
It's very, very important that it's transparent.
And the transparency you talk about, you're absolutely right. It is so important because these are diseases that produce a lot of fear. So a person experiencing the beginnings of this degenerative state may be very, very fearful about letting anyone know this is happening in my life. Or if you're with someone or caretaking someone and you notice this, you may be fearful about being transparent.
Right.
And coming together with Alzheimer's Orange County Club helps people feel that they're supported and that they can get the information they need and they can share information and not feel so alone.
Absolutely. That's the whole key to it. And it's education, education, education.
Yes.
And we're in there grouped together. I mean, everybody is feeling for one another. Everybody can empathize with the situation. So it's not like I'm alone and how do I deal with this? So that's what we're here for. And speaking of walk, I might add that we start our walk season this Saturday at Laguna Niguel.
Okay.
There'll be a regional park over there. And that's going to be followed in 2 weeks at the Walk for Alzheimer's down at Huntington Beach.
Okay.
And then November 11th, it'll be at the Angels Stadium.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're really looking forward to this. We do the same venues each year. It generates a lot of funding for us. And I might add that the difference between us and the national group is 100% of every dollar raised by these walks and any other funding event stays right here in Orange County.
Wonderful.
So it's going to be used for research and development and introducing new programs to people like Terry's going to be describing.
Wonderful. Well, then the way to start this week is to attend on Friday the 13th at 10 o'clock a.m. and you all will be meeting at Clubhouse 3, Room 2. So this Friday, 10 a.m., Clubhouse 3, Room 2 is the way to connect with Alzheimer's OC Club, to learn about Alzheimer's conditions and concerns from Carrie Walker, and to maybe make some more connections with the people who are involved in the club and get some more support.
Absolutely, and we always have a resource table there with all kinds of information. A lot of people would take that information with them, and it gives them a connection now to Alzheimer's Orange County, so that all they have to do is make a phone call, and any questions they have will be answered immediately on the phone, and that'll be followed up then with resources that can be sent directly to their home.
That's a wonderful resource. Well, thank you,
and
Mr.
it's
Daly.
all free.
Oh, it's all free.
Even
That's
better.
good too. Thank you, Mr. Daly, for being with us today. We look forward to the wonderful event on Friday this week.
Well, thank you, Connie. Very nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. And thank you for joining us. Don't forget to be at Clubhouse 3 at 10 o'clock on Friday for Alzheimer's Orange County and their event where you can learn a little bit more about conditions for your friends and loved ones. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.